Hi, Scindia. It's such an honor to have you on the show. And so I'm going to dive straight into the questions that I had and have shared with you. And, feel free to use examples from your experiences so far to help our audience understand these concepts a bit better.
Sure.
So, yeah. So let's start with my first question. What is the role of content in B2B marketing?
So before answering that, thank you first, Natasha, for inviting me to this amazing show, because I usually respect people who do something outside of their work also, right? Currently today, in today's world, people are so busy and immersed with the work, but finding time to do something extra, I always, admire. And I'm also a host of a podcast called Leaders. So I host women leaders to just to know and share their journey, inspirations along with our audience. So I know how running a podcast is all like. So I'm so honored to sit in this side of table and talk to you as a guest first. Yeah. To answer your question, right? So today, the biggest difference between B2B and B2C is B2C, you just need to appeal emotionally and you have to connect with the audience. You have to get your brand associated in their mind, right? That game is pretty different and difficult also. I'm not saying that it's easy. But in B2B, see, today in world, even in B2C, right? If you're buying anything, people will go read online reviews, what others are talking about, or comparison, side effects of this. So much people read right nowadays. Even for watching a movie, you go inside, or web series, you go and see that I'm going to invest my time. Is it worth? We find from experts. The same way in B2B, imagine you're going to invest some money. You wanted to see ROI out of it, taking a big decision for the company also through you. So they want to know more and more before making a decision. And today's world and a lot of new age technologies, right? There is not even a demand exists. We have to even create a demand for that category. And then you have to go and market your product or brand, right? And also when they make such a big decision, they will be wanting to buy or even go with the suggestion of a thought leader or an expert or a consultant. They don't believe like, some company like Vajro or some company like Freshworks just coming and claiming their product to be best. They are not going to believe and buy. It's not the case anymore, right? You need to be a thought leader in that category. You need to really know your game, and customer has to trust you that, hey, okay, this person is coming or this company is coming and telling something, claiming something, could be true, because they seems to know a lot of things and they have the customer interest as their best interest, and they're producing a lot of ROI for the customers. So hence, okay, let me believe and start considering them. All this is not actually only possible by using paid advertisements or advertorials or etc., because people are smart now, right? They know if you're doing a paid advertising, and they know and that is not a loop, right? It's a linear activity. It will have a boom at a specific time, and I put $1,000 and so many dollars come out, and after that, after $1,000 nothing will come. So it's not like a loop effect. So it'll keep growing on its own. It'll have a virality, and it is going to bring in a lot of organic things for you. That is not going to be the case in just an advertisement or a brand building exercise. So content, to answer your question, content is the key for B2B marketing. Without content, none of the campaigns are going to work, or none of the activities are going to work. Even let's consider a physical event. You're considering a small networking event also. Why people have to even come? To learn something, and you have to give them, attract them, saying that, hey, coming here you will learn XYZ, right? So everywhere content plays a key role today. And not only creating the demand, even addressing the demand. See, today SEO plays a major role. Even if someone have an intern search in the category or in the field you're selling, if they type something, your article or your advocacy or some of your white paper, something should pop up for them to even see that, hey, there is a brand like this exists and they are offering the services which may help me to overcome my pain point. So as much as today, any successful B2B company, take Freshworks, take Zoho, take HubSpot, or any HubSpot is a wonderful example, right? Any B2B company, they are only successful because they have a lot of content churned out every day or every minute, which is adding value to their users. So in a two-way aspects, even to create demand of the category or even to serve the category, and also even to make them be an advocate for the category you're in, you have to work a lot on the content. So instead of saying content is the heart, I would say content is everything. So without content, it's a basic need. You can't even start marketing. B2B marketing is simple, like you can even call content marketing. So others are other channels. In fact, like, we call it in Freshworks assets. So we call it like, this is our integrated campaign. This is our asset. This is our everything. All other will be a distribution channel. It'll be like you put up paid money or you're going to run a ABM campaign, anything. It's all a distribution channel. But this is going to be your key.
Right. So, Scindia, you spoke about how paid is a linear process, right? You put in this much money and you get this much revenue. But also there's so much talk about content ROI and content leading to revenue. And of course, there's a lot of pressure on content marketers eventually to show that impact on the bottom line, right? So are there any thoughts you have on how one can use content to actually drive revenue?
So I'll take a step back. Even not only for content marketers, right? Even for marketers, there is a lot of pressure. Right. Even if you bring in leads, they will say how much got converted, right? How much is the revenue? $1 if you put how much dollars you're getting. It's a good practice, but a lot of times people don't understand it's not a straightforward methodology to directly measure. But rather, imagine, so how I give KRS to my team, right? So if if there is a demand generation team, I will tell them, so much installs or so much marketing qualified leads is your target. I will give this joint target to our content marketers, telling that because they have to churn out this kind of content to achieve that. And same way, even for design, I'll tell them. So it is like a straightforward way of measuring the ROI is any campaign you do, if it is performing well. If, for instance, if you're running a campaign in Facebook, or if you're running an event, or if you're using a asset presentation in the event, or if you're using an ebook download campaign in a Facebook advertisement, right? As long as the content is good, the cost of acquisition of customer will come down. So it's a straight metric. If really the ebook is so attractive, so Vajro is coming up with something called 10 must Shopify tools you need to have your Shopify store successful, or like 30 tips for you to have your Black Friday, Cyber Monday exciting. If really that 30 tips is exciting, obviously my campaign will perform better. Otherwise, it will not perform better, right? It will have a budget or anything, right? But still, the amount of traffic it attracts, amount of leads it is helping the demand generation or a sales team to go and pitch. All that is a measure. So it is not a straightforward like, hey, through this book, how much has come? It's very difficult to do in that way. But you can always measure an impact basis on the success of the campaign. Like, hey, today I'm having a content asset. Okay, you, Natasha, you created this asset. You send it to a prospect list. How much ever is downloading, then only I'll believe it is successful. It's not so. It's not about in every channel. It's about every channel. Like today, we are posting it in social, or we are running a digital campaign, or we are using that as a giveaway in an event, or we are using that as a co-marketing activity with a partner. So anything, right? Everything involves like how the engagement is. The engagement is more. It's an indicator. It's always an indicator, right? Everything is an indicator. Why that thermometer and temperature, you have a fever, it's an indicator. It's a symptom, right? In a cough, it's a symptom that you have a lung congestion. Similarly, if you have a more traffic, more people engaging towards it, definitely it's a symptom and indication that it is going to get converted into revenue. So another example, if I wanted to go a little bit precise, right? If you are having a landing page with a resource, let's consider that we did something in Freshworks. For instance, we created a resource page where we had experts coming and talking about e-commerce store success journey. like how to make your e-commerce store successful in a pandemic situation, or how to make your customers happy because the demand is so much, and how will you not concentrate, or compensate on, compromise on the quality, as well as compensate customer with a good customer experience. Everybody wants to learn, because in the pandemic, everyone has to go e-commerce way, even if the strategy is not so. But everyone wants to know how to run it successful without pissing off my this thing.
Right.
So everyone started coming inside, even being an educative content, everything, right? We didn't gate the content, because gating the content will look a selfish notion for sure. So we wanted to do something good. So we made it like an adapt series where people came and talked, and people were just doing non-gated content. Biggest problem is you can't measure, right? So how we measured is the amount of traffic came inside. We use that traffic to run retargeting campaigns. So the success of that retargeting campaigns helped us to gauge that yes, that campaign was successful, because a lot of relevant traffic came inside. I was able to convert subsequently in my retargeting campaign. Just an example.
Interesting. Those are two really good examples. Thanks so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
So yeah, this is a common one. I think the next question that I have, B2B content in general is perceived as boring, and B2B as a space, I think, is perceived like that. So, can you share some examples or insights as to how to make it more interesting, or do you disagree with this idea altogether?
I disagree with this idea, because I'll tell you, see, it's all subjective, right? See, for instance, for you, certain novel will be very interesting. For me, it will be boring. Why? Because you have an interest on it. I don't have interest on the subject. I may be so much, I love that, Tamil epic novels, like biggest one, Ponniyin Selvan, biggest movie is also coming, right? That biggest epic novel, I'm a big fan of it. Not everyone will be. Everyone will be thinking like 5,000 pages, who will sit and read? They may not like it because they are not passionate about it. It's not like Ponniyin Selvan is boring. It's like they are not passionate about it, or they don't have interest on it. So as long as you are reaching out to a relevant people and talking about their pain points and the need of them, for them, whatever they wanted to listen, then it's not boring. So today, whatever we are conversing, right, it'll be very interesting for all the content marketers or marketing people to know. If a salesperson wants to know, hey, what is going on in a content marketing person, they are not giving any ROI, let me see what industry people are talking about, that will be interesting for them. Consider there is a finance person, or consider someone who is doing a CA. For them, whatever both of us are talking will not make any sense.
That's right.
Right? So B2B, it's not like it's a boring thing. It's about like how personalized it is, how relevant it is for the target audience or for the persona you're talking to. So for that persona, if you're giving a value-added content, that is not going to be boring for sure. So on the other hand, even how will you give them the content for them easy consumption? So for certain people, say everyone today, the attention span is very, very low, including me. If we have a long call, automatically I'll pick up the mobile. I'll start saying, okay, so many Slack messages came. Let me see what is it. That distraction is there for everyone. So in that sense, if you're taking a lot of time in your content, even to getting into the subject, then they may abandon you. The bounce rate will be to so much. If your page, even like, simple thing, your page load speed is low. You have a very heavy design. Your page speed is low. They will not. And a big video you have put for 1.5 hours, the moment they open like 1.5 hours, they will not go. And if you see them like 30 pages, they will not go. So 30 pages, maybe there will be a content. But what you have to do, what we do usually is that 30 pages synopsis, a small 1-minute video will put. So what you will get out of it. Then that will capture their mind. Then they will mark that to read in their leisure, because yes, it is going to make sense for me. So how are you making them to understand that, hey, this is relevant for you? That communication is the key to trigger the interest. So if someone is saying that B2B marketing is boring, there will be two reasons. One, all the content they read is not relevant to them. And second, it has not been communicated to them in a form that where it is easy for them to consume. Otherwise, it's totally, because B2B marketing, according to me, is very interesting because it's completely educative, right? All the content they consume is educative, and it's not only going to help them, in official things. Even it's as a personality, they will keep gaining a lot of knowledge. So it's interesting, but as long as how are we communicating?
So I think my next question, you kind of answered it when you said everything is content and content is everything. But I still would love to know, maybe in the context of, how you've built your teams, where does content sit in the overall marketing team for you?
So if you ask in my team, right, those who are even in product marketing, even people who are in events, webinars, field marketing, if I would call that, performance marketing, right? Everyone works with one team, that is content team. So content and branding. So any communication which goes out from the org, it will be vetted and signed off, whether it's within our brand guidelines, are we use right language, everything is the brand, our content owners are the custodians. And any event, right, or any webinar, if we agree to go, how catchy the topic is, what is the key takeaways we are coming up with, that is again the whole event success and the webinar success is on content team. And even as a product marketing team, whatever research they does, whatever copy they come up with, communicating, because again, as you said, like, I will not call it product marketing as boring, but it's heavy and it's high tech, right? Communicating it in an easy form and making people to relate it, again, content team plays a major role in that. And I have a big admiration for content team, because maybe like I always seen them as an artist or as an art, right? Everyone cannot do it. So even, right, I can give a structure, I can give an idea, but if you ask me to sit and write a whole book, I can't do it. So whomever is doing that, I always have a big respect for them. So in my team, always content plays a major role. Even other people who are not a content marketer also, I would expect them to know what is the idea behind it. At least they should be able to give a structure. They should be able to give an idea, right? And what are we into? So everyone needs a minimal content knowledge to be a marketer first.
Right.
If you ask me, no one can say like, hey, I don't know to write content, I'm not a marketer. No, if you're a marketer, then you should know content. Are you doing that as a full-time is only the question. Right. Otherwise, definitely you should know to write.
So do you have a mix of in-house, in-house and outsourced content creators? How is that mix for you?
Somewhat for me, outsourced content never worked that much. So I always build my in-house content team.
And if I can just ask, why hasn't outsourcing worked for you?
It's very difficult. Then that wing has to work very, very hand in hand with you, and they should understand your brand well, because a lot of times we will end up in doing double work. So, they will not understand. They will write something which will not be in your brand tone. And sometimes they will not understand what your audience wanted to really hear. And they will come up with something. Again, our team has to do the briefing again. We have to again vet. We have to say, hey, this you can't call it out. This. So instead of that, sometimes, having an in-house team, at least they get into the groove and they understand our audience well. They understand our brand well. So somewhat that churning out of the content quality as well as the timing, I feel in-house is better.
Interestingly, I was just reading a report today where it said that working with freelancers, the biggest pain point that marketers have is actually two big pain points. A, that communicating the brand voice effectively. And B, what you just said, they have to do the last review, which is extremely time consuming. So these 2 points, in fact, this morning I was reading that. So it's interesting that you're reiterating those same thoughts.
I didn't read that, by the way.
Yeah. So maybe you did some cheating. I don't know. Okay. So I was digressing. So you've spoken also a lot about a lot of examples, but, are there some specific campaigns that are very close to your heart where you feel content was, at the core of it and you would consider those successful? And then again, how would you measure that success?
So I wanted to link this with my previous role as a technology partner marketer. So in the pandemic, right, everybody got shocked, because all the physical events got stopped and people were not coming to office. A lot of people were falling sick and companies were finding it very difficult to run campaigns digitally because digital world was cluttered. Your content was not performing. So we had huge pressure to bring in leads, right? So that time we as an ISV marketing team came up with an excellent campaign for Freshworks where we ran an e-commerce boot camp. So we brought industry experts like Shopify, SurveyMonkey, Slack, AWS, like 8 partners came together and we made it like 2-day event, breakout sessions like brick to e-commerce motor and from e-commerce to m-commerce. So like that, we had multiple sessions with multiple experts, all thought leadership, just with an intent like how this new to e-commerce people, right? They will be a huge store, but or the small stores, suddenly pandemic hits and they have to transform digitally instantly. They have to get all the hacks, quick tips, everything. That was the whole intent, and we were not selling any products there. Rather than all experts came and spoke together how to build an effective e-commerce system for the brick and mortar system, stores to be very successful when they launch their online event. So there we all partners agreed to drive 200 leads each, but we ended up in overall we had like 2,500 registrations. So we spent like from our side we would have hardly spent like $1,000, but that was the lowest cost per lead campaign for Freshworks, and it was highly appreciated. And it didn't stop there. After that, we did an ebook of a sort, and
out
we
of the content from the event.
And we circulated that, and we nurtured the audience and attracted the lookalike audience through that. And then we formed a e-commerce interview series, one-on-one interview series with the experts, and we continued in the same theme. So that really helped. And same thing we did for travel and tourism in a slightly different way, because travel and tourism had a heavy hit. So we all went and told, hey, be ready. There is going to be a phase where you will be on top. That is what is happening now, right? You will be in peak and you will milk. So how will you prepare yourself to stay ahead, till the pandemic gets over? And when the boom comes, how will you be in full capacity? How you have to manage? We did a different thing. Again, like we brought all the experts and spoke. This too really, really helped, us to grow like 3 times, 4 times than what we expected as a target. That was really close to my heart, because that idea, as a marketer, when you brought in something and it comes as a huge success,
it's amazing. I think, especially at that time when you're pushed against a wall, I think something working out. That's great. That's a great example. And I think also the fact that you repurpose that content, right, into an ebook, you make that content live a longer life, because I think that's one problem that we do have, especially post-pandemic, when there are a lot of virtual events happening, but then that event happens and then that's it, right? What next? I think that also has to be smartly thought of.
Yes, I have this idea, and we as a team always have this idea. We have multiple forms of that content. So if it's a video content, we will convert into ebook, we'll convert into blog, right? If it is the ebook straight, then we will convert that into a video report for people to easily consume. And again, blog, again, like, a small video series to people talking about the ebook. So always, we have multiple forms of content.
Amazing. So I will jump to my last question, Scindia, because I think we've spoken a lot about everything that I wanted to cover with beautiful examples. My last question to you is, now we've come so far with content marketing, where you are saying everything is content. Now, what is the future of content marketing as per you?
Without you folks, there will not be a marketing function. That's the future. And it's the present also currently, right? You can't see a marketing function without content, people being there. See, today, everything is replaceable, right? Everything can be automated. Even your events organizing can be outsourced. Your webinar organizing can be outsourced. Everything can be outsourced. But the real IP of your campaign lies with the content team. It's the people. That is the only thing which a people can do. It's not a process. Like, you cannot have a checklist of event, or you cannot have a checklist for webinar. You can't have a checklist for anything, right? It is not going to work in that way. So this is a creative process. So you need people who that IP cannot be transferred. Tomorrow, that person is leaving, another person is coming in. You can't expect the same, right? The content can be better, that may not be better. You don't know till they come, get into a glue and perform. So this is one thing. When the world is moving towards automation, the world is moving towards um, eliminating routine works, right? But this is something which cannot be replaced all the time, and this is going to live like the core intelligence team, so core IP team, our core team. So that's how I see this.
Yeah, I'm glad you say this, because in a world where there are also AI content generators, right? So there's always this feeling that content creators will have that, and there's a lot of debate about it as well. So I mean, I shouldn't be saying it, or I can, I guess, but because Pepper also has an AI content generator, but we are also very clear that that doesn't mean that the creator is going away. Like that is, the content creator is not being replaced by AI. It's just making the life of even the
Of them
creator
easier,
easier. Yeah.
to make them more productive. Like let's take an example, like if an automatic car is coming, doesn't mean that all drivers are going to go away, right? It's
That's
making their life easier. And similarly, like if you're getting all the modern age kitchen accessories and appliances, that doesn't mean that you will not need to cook, right? So it is just making your life easier. It's not going to replace anything.
amazing. Great. Two very good examples again. Superb, Scindia. This was such a great conversation. I loved your ease, the ease with which you give information and, help give insights is amazing. I think I haven't seen this in a lot of speakers. I think you just make it so easy to understand concepts, which can be actually full of a lot of jargon and stuff. I think thanks so much for doing this.
This is a last piece of suggestions for everyone, since you said this, right? Always people think the great piece of content or the great video or the great speech is all about giving a lot of jargon, statistics, right? Actually, according to me, no. I'll always tell, even right from anyone organizing an event and anyone writing also, I'll say, hey, just forget everything. Consider you, someone reading that or someone attending the event. What do you want? What you will understand? Don't write something which you know. Just erase everything. Come as a layman. And if I don't know anything, I wanted to learn and I'm coming. Will I be able to relate to this? Will I be able to gain value out of it? That is what all matters. Showing off with jargons, having heavy words, making it very difficult and fancy, it may attract you because you are an expert in it. Someone who wants to learn and wants to gain value out of it, see how easy it is for them to relate and remember and take an action. So any content has to be actionable, need not be fancy. So that's what I believe in.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Scindia. And I think that's all. We can sign out now.
Thank you. Thank you for this amazing opportunity, Natasha. I didn't feel like you're an amazing host, because I didn't feel like I must be a guest or you're a host. Rather than, I felt like, okay, someone I met and they're asking me about content marketing. I'm just sharing what I know. Thank you.
I think that's because you make it so easy and so easy to have a conversation. Not all speakers make it that easy.
Thank you. Thank you, Natasha.